Picture this. You journey across continents to safeguard a secluded society, only to realize they see you as mere cattle. A band of student activists locks themselves to trees, halting the destruction of a section of the Peruvian Amazon. They rejoice, convinced they've made a difference worldwide. Yet, hours later, their plane plummets from the sky, crashing into the very rainforest they defended. The survivors awaken not to appreciation, but to horror. They're hauled into a bamboo cage, painted with bizarre colors, and forced to witness their companions being slaughtered, spiced, and cooked alive. The story starts in a clean, safe university dorm room. Justine, a new student, is woken up by chanting outside her window. She looks down and sees a group of student activists on a hunger strike. They are protesting to get health insurance for the cleaning staff. Justine watches them, feeling both curious and doubtful. Her roommate Casey makes fun of them, calling them posers who just want something to feel guilty about. During a sociology lecture, the professor talks about female genital mutilation in some African and Peruvian tribes. She explains that young girls endure clitoris removal using crude tools like broken glass or sharpened stones, a practice intended to control their sexual desires. Justine is clearly upset by this information. She suggests that her father, a lawyer for the United Nations, might be able to help. However, the professor rejected the suggestion, citing similar issues in Muslim communities and the Amazon, requiring diverse lawyers for a broad solution. After class, Jonah, a member of the hunger strike group, approaches Justine to give her a flyer inviting her to join their group. He mentions that the group leader, Alejandro, whom Justine has a crush on, gave him the flyer to distribute. Despite her roommate's warning that activism is a waste of time, Justine decides to attend a meeting. The group is planning a direct action to save a tribe from a deadly situation in the Peruvian Amazon. A private corporation is bulldozing the jungle to extract natural gas reserves, endangering an uncontacted tribe called the Yahes. Justine, confused, asks if their plan involves marching through the jungle and starving themselves, which angers Alejandro, who tells her to leave for speaking to him disrespectfully. Justine rushes out, followed by Jonah, who apologizes for what happened. That night, Justine struggles to sleep. Justine, determined to achieve her goals, consults Alejandro. When asked what she cares about, Justine replies, African girls. Alejandro proposes organizing a group to shame those responsible via media attention in Africa. Justine joins. Alejandro plans to live stream destruction from 15 hacked sites, promising change if they trust him. Kechi disagrees, warning her of jungle dangers, but Justine is resolute. Justine tells her dad she's going to Peru, but he disapproves. She takes her grandma's necklace, hugs her friend, and heads to the meeting. At the airport, they meet Carlos, the trip's sponsor and a very wealthy man. Carlos is friendly and likes to kiss people as a tradition. Alejandro introduced them to the group, and then they flew. In Peru, the excited group, eager for an experience unlike any they've had, piled onto motorcycles. Some requested drugs, others simply enjoyed the view as they headed to the hotel. There, Alejandro oriented them about the next day, emphasizing the importance of constant recording as their only defense. The group, realizing their vulnerability in the jungle, understood they were essentially defenseless. Alejandro confronted them, reminding them that participation was voluntary and that they could return if they wished. The group remained silent and agreed to his conditions. They landed on a dirt strip and switched to a boat. The heat was intense and stifling. As they traveled down the river, Justine began to record but stopped to conserve the device's battery. She met with a man who had visited the area 3 years before. Lars, needing a toilet, asked if they would arrive at a village soon. Justine admitted she needed a toilet as well. They instructed the driver to stop the boat. Lars declined to take a knife for protection, but Justine grabbed it and entered the jungle. Lars followed with a gun. Both relieved themselves. Justine returned to the boat first. When she inquired about Lars's whereabouts, Lars was struggling with a spider. He shot at it and hurried back to the boat, claiming the spider almost bit him. The group laughed as they resumed their trip. Arriving on the island, the group changes clothes to blend in, keeping only passports. Hidden in the forest, they observe workers. Alejandro motivates them, introducing masks before they infiltrate and begin their operation. They chain themselves to machinery as bombs detonate. The militia reacts violently, but everyone films. Justine is caught, her phone seized. A commander threatens Justine, but Alejandro reveals her father works at the UN, prompting Kara to expose the setup. Ordered not to kill her, the militia surrenders. Alejandro and Kara celebrate their success as they are arrested, while Justine is in shock. The flight back is filled with euphoria. They celebrate their perceived heroism with beer, their story trending on social media. However, Justine feels she made a mistake coming here and being used. Suddenly, an engine explodes, filling the cabin with smoke. The pilots lose control, and the plane violently nosedives, throwing everyone around. The impact is catastrophic. The fuselage tears apart, instantly killing the pilots. Carlos is impaled. The wreckage skids through the trees, ripping through metal and flesh. Justine survives, disoriented and covered in blood. Crawling from the debris, she finds a scene of carnage. Several students are dead or dying. The survivors check for injuries, panicking and feeling lost. Then, silence falls. Rustling sounds emerge from the foliage. Dozens of figures appear, painted entirely in red dye, their skin stark against the green leaves. They are the Yahis, the tribe the students came to save. But their eyes show no gratitude. The natives fire tranquilizer-laced blow darts, striking the survivors one by one. Their vision blurs, their limbs go numb, and they lose consciousness. Justine wakes up in a bamboo cage. The air is hot and smells of death. The other survivors are groggy and terrified. They are in the center of the village, surrounded by the tribe. The tribe members are touching the survivors' hair and their own phones with their fingers, and no one understands what is happening. Suddenly, the village elder, a terrifying woman with yellow skin paint and a bone through her nose, approaches. She is known as the Bald Headhunter. She begins to inspect the survivors one by one, touching their hair, and then orders them to be locked in the pig pen. The terror begins immediately. The warriors grab Jonah, the largest of the group, and offer him a drink that he initially likes. But then, the elder removes and eats Jonah's eye as everyone watches in horror. Jonah struggles and screams, but he is pulled to a stone slab in the middle of the village. There, they cut off his leg, hand, and head, killing him while the villagers scream with delight. The remaining members of the group understand they are in serious danger and cannot escape, horrified to learn the tribe practices cannibalism. The students in the cage watch in frozen shock as their friend is prepared as a meal. Their activism has ended. Now they are just food. Without any option, the group is forced to use a toilet there. As night falls, the tribe feasts on Jonah's roasted flesh. Inside the cage, the group turns against Alejandro. He confesses the truth. The protest was a setup orchestrated by a rival company. They hired him to stall the demolition so their crews could take over. He admits he never cared about the tribe. He was only after viral fame and money. He's not a savior, but an attention-seeking mercenary. The group becomes enraged when he points out they are fortunate they killed Jonah first, as his body will feed them for a week. They tries to escape, but it is highly guarded. The following morning the tribe arrives and takes only the girls for inspection. The leader begins to determine who is a virgin and discovers Justine is. The leader then performs a magical act on her and takes her to a special place. Heavy rain allowed Samantha to escape, squeezing through the bars while others were distracted. She found a canoe. Justine, painted and amnesiac, said she'd escaped, unsure if she succeeded. Daniel accused Alejandro of planning Samantha's harm. Alejandro was indifferent. Daniel announced a group escape that night. Unaware, they ate food, but Amy realized it was their friend's remains, and killed herself. Trauma shattered the group. They forcibly gave Amy marijuana for stress. Alejandro masturbated, seeking clarity, disgusting the others. Soon, the man arrives to claim her and take her to cook while the group watches. The drug seems to be working on them, as everyone starts to laugh and fall. The group begins to escape, but Alejandro stabs Les to prevent him from tagging along, fearing they will eat him. Daniel and Justine escape. Les wakes up surrounded by the tribe. Alejandro tells him they stabbed him while he was trying to escape, adding that the others are probably dead. Les soon realizes they are still high and starts to have fun with them. However, they begin to eat his hand. Shocked, he tries to escape, but is encircled by the tribe. They begin to eat him alive. Justine and Daniel spot a fire in the distance. While trying to jump, Justine falls into the deep water. The river carries her to a stone and she screams for Daniel to save her. He runs, grabs a leaf, and saves her. They continue their journey to the plain. There they see a man struggling through the jungle with a fire. They search for the phone and find it. She climbs to take it, but as she does, the tribe returns. She stumbles, falls to the ground, and they are caught and taken back to the tribe. Escaping carries a harsh penalty. Daniel is bound to a stake in the compound's center. He's covered in a sweet, sticky paste. Then, a bucket of large aggressive ants is brought forth. The ants are poured over him, they swarm his body, biting and burrowing into his flesh. Daniel screams. Justine, a virgin, is prepped for FGM. As the elder sharpens a blade, bulldozers interrupt the ritual, and everyone scatters. The boy she befriended frees her. She refuses to kill Daniel, but the boy does. Ignoring Alejandro's plea, she flees with the boy, giving him her necklace. She escapes a jaguar and reaches a war zone, screaming she's American. They ignore her demand to drop guns, taking her phone and her into a helicopter. She denies anyone else is there as Alejandro screams. New York City. Some time has passed. Justine is being interviewed by authorities. She faces a dilemma. Either tell the truth about the cannibal tribe and defend their massacre, or lie. She looks directly at the camera and chooses to lie. She tells the world that the Yahé people were peaceful and welcoming, and that the gas company's militia slaughtered them without provocation. She asserts that she was the only survivor, but the memory of Alejandro continues to haunt her. Justine wakes up in her dorm room to the sight of a new group of students protesting below, displaying Alejandro's photo. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.